Welcome to Med Study Notes. About the program. The program aims at mutual discussion on various topics of interest to medical students from the examination point of view. Medical teachers, practitioners, and students may participate and add to the chats or comment. Initially, we would like to concentrate on one subject for each level, like MBBS 1, MBBS 2, MBBS 3 Part 1, MBBS 3 Part 2, Ophthalmology, Medicine, Pathology, Anatomy. Mutual study concepts. 1. The topic are selected from the prescribed textbooks. Pictorial and discussion will be at a student's level of understanding which need not be teacher's level or style. Any medical student or teacher may seek clarification, add a comment indicating their professional status. Ophthalmology. Today's topic of discussion: function and structure of the eye. The external structure of the eye. The external structure of the eye contains pupil, tear duct, lacrimal, iris, sclera, and lacrimal gland. Let's look at the function and structure of the eye. There are various structures like conjunctiva, ora serrata, ciliary body, aqueous, iris, anterior chamber, cornea, pupil, lens, posterior chamber, canal of sclem, conjunctiva, vitreous, sclera, choroid, retina, macula, the artery, artery of central retina, optic nerve, vein of central retinal vein, and rectus medialis muscle. Sclera, the tough outer coat that protects the entire eyeball. Cornea, outer transparent structure at the front of the eye. It covers the iris, pupil, and the anterior chamber. It is the eye's primary light focusing structure. Cornea is a transparent, dehydrated, and avascular structure. It forms almost 1/6 of the outer fibrous coat of the eyeball. Cornea is made of 6 distinct layers. Epithelium. It is of stratified squamous type and regenerates itself once in about every week. Bowman's membrane. It does not regenerate once damaged or destroyed. Stroma. It is made of collagen fibers and accounts for almost 90% of the total thickness. Duva's layer or pre-Decimet's membrane. It is very strong and impervious to air. Decimet's membrane. Once destroyed, it regenerates by itself. It's prominent, peripheral, and forms the shell-based line. Endothelium. Metabolically, this is the most active layer of the cornea. Factors are responsible for corneal transparency. Peculiar arrangement of corneal lamellae, avascularity of cornea, level of dehydration maintained by epithelial and endothelial barriers, and active bicarbonate pump of endothelium. Swelling pressure of stroma. Water-soluble proteins of keratocyte, which is corneal crystallines. Metabolism of cornea. Epithelium is more active than endothelium. Glucose and other solutes are derived from aqueous humor and perlimbial capillaries. Oxygen is derived from air through tear film. Respiratory quotient of cornea is 1. Iris, the colored ring of tissue behind the cornea. It regulates the amount of light entering the eye by adjusting the size of the pupil. Pupil. It is the adjustable opening at the center of the eye through which the light enters the eye. Lens. It is a transparent biconvex structure suspended in a saucer-shaped depression called patella fossa, which is behind the iris. It helps to focus light on the retina. It provokes a fine-tuning adjustment to the primary focusing structure of the eye, which is the cornea. Its epithelium is a single layer on the front, that is the anterior surface. There is no epithelium on the posterior surface. Thickness and weight are gained with age. That means as the age increases, the thickness and the weight of the lens increases. Factors responsible for the lens transparency. That is when avascularity. During avascularity, the transparency increases. Dense packing of lens fibers, peculiar arrangement of lens proteins, semi-permeable lens capillaries, pump mechanism in lens fibers, high concentration of reduced glutathione, that is from autooxidation, and presence of aquaporin. O. Lens metabolism. The metabolic activity of lens is limited to epithelium and cornea, while nucleus is relatively inert. About 80% of glucose is metabolized anaerobically by the glycolytic pathway, the rest by HMB shunt and Krebs cycle. Preventive antioxidant mechanism of lens are enzymatic. The enzymes are glutathione, glutathione peroxidase, superoxide dismutase, and catalase. And the non-enzymatic mechanism is by vitamin C, vitamin E, and carotenoids. Retina. It is the light-sensitive layer of tissue that lines the back of the eye. Main characteristics of retina. The retina contains optic disc, which is responsible for the blind spot of Marriott. It contains rods and cones, which is the sensory organ of vision. There are no rods in foveal region. Ganglion cell layer is the thickest in the macular region. Henle's layer is the thickened outer plexiform in the foveal layer. Continuation of characteristics of retina. Fovea is the most sensitive part of the retina. It contains only cones. The nuclei are covered by thin internal limiting membrane. Nerve fiber layer contains major retinal vessels. Superficial capillary network of the retina is present at the level of this layer. Nourishment of macula. Lutea is entirely dependent on the choroid. Macula. This is the portion of the eye at the center of the retina that processes sharp, clear, straight ahead vision. Fovea. It is a small pit or depression at the center of macula. It provides for greater visual acuity. Anterior chamber. It is the region of the eye which is between cornea and lens. It contains a fluid known as aqueous humor. Aqueous humor is a fluid produced in the eye by the ciliary body just above the lens. It flows out through the spongy tissue trabecular meshwork located near the cornea. Choroid. This is the layer of the eye lying behind the retina and contains blood vessels that nourish the retina. Retinal pigmented epithelium. This is a layer of cells that protects and nourishes the retina. It removes the waste products and prevents new blood vessel growth into the retinal layer. As a result, it absorbs surplus light that is not absorbed by the photoreceptor cells, thus preventing scattering of light and enhances the clarity of the vision. Photoreceptors, the light sensing nerve cells, that is the rods and cones, are located in the retina. Bruch's membrane is located between the choroid and the retinal pigmented epithelial layer, that is the RPE layer, which we looked a little above. It provides support to the retina and functions as the basement membrane of the RPE layer. For revision, you can scroll up or move back into the RPE layer. Optic nerve. It is the bundle of nerve fibers at the back of the eye that carry visual images from the retina to the brain. That means optic nerve is the nerve which transfers the images from the retina to the brain. The signals are taken by the optic nerve. Fibers of the optic nerve, once cut or damaged, they do not regenerate as they are not covered by neural lemma. Intraocular part of the optic nerve is closely related to ophthalmic artery, which crosses obliquely over it. Rods and cones. Rods are the photoreceptor cells that are sensitive to low lights and are present in the retina outside the macula. The cones are the photoreceptor nerve cells present in the macula which are response and concentrated in the fovea. They enable people to see fine details and colors. Now comes vitreous and Dunsen. Vitreous is a jelly-like substance that fills the eye from the lens to the back of the eye. It consists of large molecules of hyaluronic acid and constitutes about two-thirds of the total volume of the eye. Drusen, they are deposits of yellow extracellular waste products that accumulate within and beneath the RPE layer. Extraocular muscles. There are four rectus muscles, which is medial rectus, inferior rectus, lateral rectus, and superior rectus. They arise from the common tendinous ring at the apex of the orbit. Inferior oblique arises from the floor of the orbit. Superior oblique arises from the apex, turns around the trochlea, and is inserted in the upper and outer part of the sclera. Nerve supply. Third cranial nerve supplies superior, medial, and inferior rectus muscle and inferior oblique. Fourth cranial nerve supplies superior oblique. Sixth cranial nerve supplies lateral rectus muscle. Actions of the muscle. Medial rectus, the primary action is adduction. Lateral rectus, primary function is abduction. Superior rectus, it has primary, secondary and tertiary function. Primary function is elevation, secondary is intorsion and tertiary is adduction. Inferior rectus, primary function is depression, secondary action extorsion, tertiary action adduction. Superior oblique, primary action is intorsion, secondary action is depression, tertiary action is abduction. Inferior oblique, primary action extorsion, secondary action elevation, tertiary action abduction. Conjunctiva. Conjunctiva is a tissue that lines the inside of the eyelid and covers the sclera, which is the white part of the eye. It is composed of unkeratinized stratified squamous epithelium with goblet cells and stratified columnar epithelium. Adenoid layer consists of connective tissue, reticulum, limbal stem cells are present in the limbal conjunctiva. The fibrous layer contains all the blood vessels and the nerves. Lacrimal apparatus. It is a physiological system containing the orbital surface for tear production and drainage. It consists of the lacrimal gland which secretes the tears and its excretory ducts which convey the fluid to the surface of the human eye. It is a serous gland located in the lacrimal fossa. Optic glands. Meibomian glands, glands of Zeiss, glands of Moll, accessory lacrimal gland. Orbit. Orbit is the cavity or the socket of the skull in which the eye and its appendages are situated. Orbit can refer to the bony socket, or it can also be used to imply the contents. Its walls are formed by the following bones. Medial wall is formed by frontal process of maxilla and lacrimal bone, orbital cribriform plate, body of sphenoid. Lateral wall is formed by zygomatic bone, greater wing of sphenoid. Superior wall is formed by orbital plate of frontal bone, lesser wing of sphenoid. The floor is formed by orbital surface of maxillary bone, orbital surface of zygomatic bone and palatine bone. Fissures and foramen. Inferior orbital fissure, superior orbital fissure, optic canal or foramen. In the next video, we will look in the topic physiology of optics and refraction. The refraction is the phenomena that causes a light ray to bend when it hits an optical lens surface or any other medium which can act to transmit the light, which is like example water. Refraction occurs when light strikes the surface of the new medium. As the light enters a dense medium, it slows the light wave down.